cognitive decline, it's one of the biggest fears so many of us have about getting older. But what if I told you that we're not powerless against it anymore? Seriously, we now have some powerful science-backed tools to fight back. So today we're going to dive into 4 key lifestyle changes that research shows can literally change your brain's future. Let's get into it. First things first, let's just set the stage a little. As we get older, it is totally natural to worry about our memory, about our thinking. We start to notice these little changes. Forgetting a name, misplacing something, and that little voice in the back of your head starts asking, uh-oh, is this the start of something serious? Come on, we've all been there. That moment of sheer frustration where you just cannot find your keys or a word is right on the tip of your tongue. It happens to everyone, but it often comes with this little flicker of anxiety, doesn't it? So what is the real difference between a normal, oops, I'm getting older moment and a genuine red flag? Okay, this slide really breaks it down. On one hand, you've got what's called mild cognitive impairment, or MCI. Think of this as, well, common age-related stuff. Maybe it takes you a little longer to make a decision, but it's not really messing up your day-to-day life. But then, on the other side, you have dementia. And that's a much more serious decline that really does negatively impact daily life. The key difference here is that impact on your ability to just live your life independently. And this, right here, is why we have to pay attention to MCI. It is so critical. Get this, studies show that every single year, a staggering 10 to 20% of people with mild cognitive impairment will progress to some form of dementia. That number tells you everything you need to know about why getting ahead of this, being proactive, is an absolute game changer. So, with the stakes being that high, the burning question for researchers forever has been, can we actually do anything about this? For a long, long time, the answer was kind of murky, but that has all changed recently, and honestly, the breakthrough is huge. For years and years, the scientific community has been desperately looking for solid proof, real evidence that lifestyle changes can head off cognitive decline. It's been a long road, but 2 massive, large-scale studies have finally delivered the goods. And here they are, the 2 heavy hitters, the Finger trial out of Finland back in 2015, and the more recent Pointer trial from right here in the US. And what's so incredible about this is that we're talking about 2 different decades, 2 totally different groups of people, and they both came to the exact same conclusion. A structured, multi-part lifestyle plan is way, way better at improving brain function than just telling people, hey, you should be healthy. And you don't have to take my word for it. Dr. Charles Hennekins, a top expert who commented on these studies, really puts it into perspective. He says they provide reliable evidence of benefit. In plain English, that means this stuff works. We're not just talking about theories or ideas anymore. This is backed by some seriously solid science. All right, so what was the secret sauce? What exactly did these people do that made such a difference? Well, the Pointer study broke it all down into 4 core parts, which we can think of as the 4 pillars for building a stronger, healthier brain. And here they are: diet, exercise, social engagement, and heart health. It's simple, it's memorable, and it's incredibly powerful. The real magic is how they all work together. So let's take a super quick look at what each of these pillars actually means. Pillar 1 is all about diet, and specifically something called the Mind Diet. Now, this isn't about some crazy restrictive plan. It's all about focusing on foods that your brain loves. Things like berries, leafy greens, nuts, fish. The whole point is to reduce something called oxidative stress, which you can basically think of it like rust building up on your brain cells. This diet helps prevent that. Pillar 2, physical exercise. And we're not talking about just a gentle stroll in the park here. This was a structured, moderate to high-intensity program. And the science on this is crystal clear. This kind of activity boosts blood flow to your brain, basically giving your brain cells a power wash of oxygen and nutrients to keep them in top shape. Pillar 3 is all about social and intellectual engagement. You see, the studies knew that social isolation is a massive risk factor for cognitive decline. So the plan actively pushed people to connect with others, to play games, to learn new skills, basically anything that keeps the mind active, sharp, and, connected to the world. And last but not least, Pillar 4, heart health. This one is so simple but so crucial. What's good for your heart is good for your brain. End of story. This part of the plan focused on keeping an eye on things like high blood pressure and high cholesterol, because those things can do real damage to the brain's tiny, delicate network of blood vessels. Now, it would be so easy to stop right there and say, okay, great, just follow the 4 pillars. But the researchers behind this work argue that just looking at it from a purely individual, you're on your own approach, well, it isn't enough. To make a real, lasting difference, we have to think bigger. They call the problem a siloed approach. Imagine this. Your doctor gives you all this great advice in one building, but you live in a totally different building across town where your environment, your community, your access to things just doesn't support any of those healthy choices. That's the problem. And Dr. Hennekins just hits the nail on the head here. I mean, it's one thing to be told to eat better, right? But it's a whole other story if you live in a place where there's no grocery store with fresh food for miles. It's great to be told to exercise, but what if you don't have safe parks or even sidewalks? These barriers are very real, and they can make trying to change your own behavior feel almost impossible. So the real takeaway here is that we need a coordinated response. This means things like city planning that actually creates walkable communities with safe green spaces. It means insurance companies that reward you for preventative care. It means big public education campaigns about healthy aging and community programs that give people real, on-the-ground support. It's all about building an entire ecosystem that makes the healthy choice the easy choice. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important point from all of this research. This isn't just some interesting information to file away. This is a call to action for our own health, for sure, but also for the health of our communities. As Dr. Manisha Parulakar, another leading expert, puts it, this research is a true call to action. We now have a proven, powerful tool against cognitive decline. The evidence is in. The question is no longer if we can do something about it, but how. We're going to put what we now know into practice. So, I'll just leave you with this question. Knowing these 4 pillars, diet, exercise, social engagement, and heart health, what's just one small, totally manageable choice you can make today to start building a healthier future for your brain?